Hello and welcome to our live stream. And I'm so happy that we have FOMO on board today. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, and I'm glad it's not in the middle of the night because I know we are all over the world and the country.
Yeah,
So
I know. And also on board, as always, Ariel, of course. And we have Adam from In Layman's Terms. So how are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Actually, it was a busy day.
Perfect.
I was helping a friend moving some stuff, and driving a truck, and very agitated day. But I'm really excited and looking forward to the live stream.
Okay, the first thing what I like to say, first of all, thank you very much for joining. Of course, thank you very much, FOMO, again for joining. It's a great pleasure, and for all the people in the chats and whatever. So keep it to a kind level, okay, please, because I can already see a couple of comments, and we're just here to enjoy what we like to do. There's nothing. We don't want to upset anyone. Okay, I like to talk about my journey for pre-ordering a PlayStation 5 Pro. And I'm not saying that I'm okay with the price and stuff like that. I'm just a nerd, who likes to try the newest hardware. And my first question to us here, Adam, FOMO, Ariel, anyone else pre-ordered the PlayStation 5 Pro, or was it just me?
I did.
See, guilty.
Well, this is a business expense, so
yeah.
If it was just me, I would keep my PS5. Like I'm playing Black Myth Wukong. It looks great. I'm like, I wonder how much better it could look on the PS5 Pro. I'm happy with how it looks on the PS5. So
yeah, I agree with you because looking at the difference right now, Digital Foundry had hands-on on some games. And on YouTube, it's always very hard to see, of course, the big difference compared to our TVs. But I was a little bit, okay, that's what you get for 1,200 Australian dollars, not including the disk drive. But let's see, let's wait, okay? The price is still hot.
But I have to ask, so FOMO, and this is FOMO and Marcus. So I've never really seen you guys to come across as too much of a hardcore gamer. So is this PS5 Pro purchase purely to do more testing with your TVs and stuff, or is this for actual enjoyment?
So for me, I come from the Atari generation. I'm just happy the thing looks, it's all about gameplay for me, right? So I'm a simple guy. So PS5 already, I'm overwhelmed by, and this applies to the Xbox as well. So I was really happy with just Xbox 360. I had that for a while, dancing with the camera and everything. And then the PS5 Pro is 100% to see the differences on the different TVs to help people with their buying decisions, if it makes a difference. And really, that's it. But as a personal buy, having the PS5, I would have no interest in getting the PS5 Pro. I would wait for the PS6, assuming it's that much better. And I have PC build, right? So I'm very familiar with gaming, but my day is spent so much doing TV reviews. I really don't have, like right now, today's the first time I got to play a new game, which is Black Myth. And oh, wow, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I wish I had more time to game. And for me, the PS5 Pro is definitely a business expense to help you all compare TV. So I'll have the PS5 and the Pro next to each other running on different OLEDs moving forward. And if it looks the same, a lot of you will be like, wait, what? It looks the same? So yeah.
Yeah, Marcus, I'm just curious.
For me, it's. Look. First of all, I'm interested in this stuff. You know what I mean? Since I'm able to enjoy it or able to buy it. Actually, I love buying new stuff. I'm just I'm FOMO. That's how it is. And of course, it's for the channel. If I wouldn't buy it and I would not be able to do the same videos as other channels, then I would miss out something. So it is some sort of course, a business expense. If I would pay $1,400, including disk drive here in Australia, just to have a little bit of a better graphic, I am not quite sure, because you're completely right. I'm not a hardcore gamer. I don't have time to play games for 5, 6, 7 hours a day. I don't have the time. I enjoy a game from now and then, and most of the time, to be very honest, I play on my PC anyway. to get this in the best visual quality, So PlayStation 5 Pro, I'm looking forward to it, but it's actually a business expense, yes.
Yeah, it's just an interesting observation because I myself, I'm a gamer. I'm mostly on Xbox, but I also have the PS5. But most of my friends who are all gamers, no one's getting it. And the only people that I know are purchasing it are people that are purchasing it for the purposes of more scientific exploration rather than gaming. So for me, I'm just, find that a very interesting point.
Yeah, myself, I am debating between, and I'm gonna do one of two. I'm gonna either get the PS5 Pro as a gift, or I'm going to get the new GPUs, one of the new GPUs, and then I'm gonna gift my GPU for a gaming PC. And let me tell you, if you've ever had the chance to gift to a kid a PS5, a PS4, whatever console, that's that the experience of giving a kid something like that, they're gonna remember you forever. They're gonna think about you every single day. It is incredible.
Yeah.
So I just love the idea. I get very excited just to know I'm going to blow someone's mind. It's gonna be insane.
Cool.
And that's really what had me excited about it.
Good on you.
But I'll probably get the GPU because it's gonna benefit me too.
Yeah.
And with my
for your channel, it's better.
GPU, yeah. And so then it benefits me, and then I do the gift. And the other thing is when I gifted the PS5, I realized, okay, well, that's very cool, but now what about the games? I cannot gift you also a lot of games, and games are very expensive. So with the PC, it's different. So yeah, that's what I am right now.
It's interesting, yeah. So I think we need to start a fundraiser for Ariel to get him a PlayStation as well. So
I don't.
Anyway.
I mean, honestly, I would not get a PS5 because I am not buying the games 2 times. Yeah. Okay, if get it for the PC and then for the PS5 too is too much.
It is expensive. When I'm always doing a video between or comparing PC, PlayStation, you need or Xbox as well, 3 times the expense. It's a lot of money, yeah. I would like to jump to a couple of comments because we have a lot. Thanks to FOMO today, we're getting a lot of attraction here, which is great, absolutely. And I like to, so Kevin, your comment is, it's not insulting me, but and you're wrong anyway. But anyway, these idiots are why we are gonna have consoles starting from $700 going forward. No, the reason why Sony is asking for this price is because Xbox has nothing to show off. That's the problem. It's not because of us, because Sony can do at the moment whatever they want. That's the same like Nvidia with the high-end GPUs. It's exactly the same.
It's an interesting point you brought up, Marcus. I watched a video this morning. I think it was Spawnwave, and he was talking about how Sony's just doubled the price of their what game was it? There was a remaster. Horizon Zero Dawn. I think there was a remaster or something like that, and they just doubled the price.
Yeah, and
so it's just pretty much plays into exactly what you said. Sony is so dominant right now; they can literally do what you want. Like, look at the TVs; they've all got the Sony tax. I don't think they're worth that much more than the competitors. Sure, they're a little bit better than all the other competitors when you really start splitting hairs, but I don't think the price difference, in my opinion, is justified for a lot of their products.
Yeah. No, I agree. What do you think, FOMO? Who is in fault here?
I'm sorry.
Who is the one? Why is Sony increasing the price like crazy? Because of us, they're pre-ordering everything, or
because they can?
Because they can.
Let's put PlayStation aside. Sony TVs always a little bit more expensive, right? We're all reviewers. The Bravia 8 or the A95L, the LG or Samsung equivalent is consistently 15 to 20% cheaper after 8 months, right? Like right now, Black Friday is coming up, and the A95L is still over $3,000. I'm like, oh my God. And, Sony can, so they will. And this is what I always say. Capitalism, you charge what the market can bear. So if they see the pre-orders good volume, they'll keep it. But trust me, the minute they see that pre-order starts to drop, magically, holiday special, it is now $650, right? So if demand keeps up with the price, that no problem at all. And that's us as consumers. If we want to see lower prices, you don't buy it and you wait. But the four of us is not going to drive the prices up. But people who are like, oh yeah, $700, that's nothing. And I think there was a comment in one of your earlier streams. People every 2 years they pay $1,100 for iPhone, Samsung, whatever it is, right? And I know it's partially subsidized by the carrier sometimes, but we're so used to paying for so much on a 2 to 3 year basis. And the PS5 comes out with a refresh every 5 years, 4 years. That sounds like a good deal for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So when we're talking about especially phones, I don't know who is upgrading their phone every year here. So I do not. I do not because we're talking about here in Australia about, so if I like to have the flagship iPhone, I'm talking about 1,800 Australian dollars, 1,800 Australian dollars for an iPhone. So that's ridiculous. And I know so many people that they're upgrading every year. So now talking about that PlayStation 5 Pro is expensive. I agree, it's expensive, but comparing to other things, it's not. It's the same. You know what I mean? It's just Sony tax on like Apple tax or whatever. It's the same.
By the way, when you did the pre-order talking about the price, did you get the disk drive or did you add it,
Yes, the disk drive is already here.
The platform? Oh,
He's a
you
scalper.
can replace yours. You can just use yours.
No,
from your PS5, and just replace it. And
no. So I have the normal disk version from the PlayStation 5. You can't use this disk drive; it's built in. So you have to get the external drive, and then you can put this somehow in. I haven't seen it, but that's what you need to do. Yeah.
But if you open it, you cannot take it out and.
I'm not sure, to be honest. If the digital, I think it's a. I don't know. I haven't opened this one, to be very honest. I haven't opened it. I don't know how it looks like.
Oh, it's not gonna be elegant. Maybe it's gonna have to be on the outside and look.
Oh no, I get you.
Table, something like that.
Not sure, but I don't want to. I'm spending $1,200 on a console. I'm not waiting warranty.
Yeah, but I was thinking, you order the PS5 Pro, then you get the disk drive, and you get that base, so you can have it vertically, and that's like almost plus taxes, and then you go almost $1,000, right?
Yeah, so it would be 1,400 Australian dollars if you get everything. I didn't get the stand because you can put the PlayStation anyway vertical. You don't need the stand. It just looks nicer.
It's not going to look like the marketing then. They always advertise it vertically.
I'm just not filming everything, okay?
Let me ask you guys a question, just to jump in there, because it's obviously the title of the stream is pre-order a mistake. If someone was to come up to all of you guys today, like some friend or whatever, and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting a play," they don't have a PS5, they don't have anything. Would you actually recommend them to get the Pro? That's where I feel like if you answer that honestly, I feel like that's your answer.
Yeah, no, I would. We're all talking about people that have a PS5 already. So what's the price difference?
No, they don't. What I'm saying is someone came to you and they don't have a console.
Yeah, they don't, and it's a $200 difference. Now, eBay used, let's forget used, right? Obviously a used PS5 is even better. It's only a 200 or 300. But if it's brand new, I'd recommend the PS5 Pro because it's worth, unless if you can't wait for the PS6 and you got the PS5 Pro, it's worth a few hundred. And I think that's, the question is how many of these pre-orders are all new to PS5 family and how many are upgrades? And we say, we all have the PS5, we probably wouldn't do it. But if I was walking in and starting a channel, I would not get the PS5. I'd get the PS5 Pro just to have the full scope within only a few $100s more than the base PS5.
Just touching on the back of that, because in my opinion, as you said, like you could look at secondhand, I'd imagine a lot of PS5s would be going on sale now secondhand due to people upgrading. See, for me, I would say, hey, don't worry about the Pro. If this is your first console or your first PlayStation 5, go get a cheap secondhand PS5. You could probably buy 2 of them for the price that it would cost to buy the full setup in Australia, because the full setup's about $1,400 Aussie dollars. So that's my opinion. But yeah, I guess they're both valid.
Well, let me give you my take on that. The first thing that I ask any of my friends is, what TV do you have? What are you going to use for that PS5? Because if they are using a crappy LCD TV, you're just going to waste your money.
It's always our topic here.
And the same goes for PC. A lot of people, they are thinking on upgrading their PC, and they keep the same monitor. It's a crappy LCD monitor, and they spend thousands of dollars, but the experience, ultimately the experience is through your display. So that's the first thing that I look into it. And most people don't have an OLED. Honestly, most people just have a crappy LCD TV that's very big, and it looks even worse than a small crappy LCD.
Yeah, nailed it with the OLED. I don't have any friends that have an OLED. I don't know anyone.
Yeah, you should have better friends.
But I think
really,
so.
Really? You don't know anyone with an OLED? That's interesting.
No, all my friends and family, not one person has purchased an OLED.
And you know what? I agree with you, Adam. Other than YouTubers, so you guys, Brian, they don't even know what OLED is unless I give them my OLED TV. They would be like, why would I pay another $1,000 when I can get this amazing looking TV at Costco, $800, whatever, and it's TCL, Hisense, Sony, right? LG, Samsung, not an OLED for sure.
So I'm trying to keep up with the comments, but there is a lot going on. Let me just bring this up, and this question is straight for FOMO. Maybe you can answer this one.
Sure. What are things you should check to make sure you won't have buyer's Man, so this is so hard. Well, first of all, you want to see how many hours they have on it. So not all TVs, it's easy to check the hours. So find out, go online and find out how do you check how many hours are on your TV, because OLED has a finite lifetime, right? Over time it dims, but after 4 years or how many hours, because let's say they're watching TV 20 hours a day, whatever, right? After a year, that thing is really aged, and you'll notice a drop in brightness after 3 years. Now, if the TV is hardly used and they take care of it, I would totally go for it. But that's the problem is we don't know. So generally, I stay away from any OLED before 2019 because LG had not had the right algorithm to prevent burn-in. 2019 and later, right? So C9, C10, C1, there's a lot less burn-in, but really it's the hours. The less hours your TV has, the better. And burn-in, you'll see it right away. So if you test for burn-in, you have to maybe bring a streaming something so you could check at the person's house. Hey, I want to check the gray screen for burn-in, right?
Yeah.
So you run a pattern on YouTube, 15%, right away, you'll see, oh, it's clean. So if it's clean there, when you bring it home, it's not going to have burn-in because that retention you will see right away. And they will see it, the person selling. You can get a great discount because honestly, a lot of people can live with a little burn-in. You can get half off. Oh my God, there's burn-in. Forget $1,000. I'll pay you $400. And you got yourself a great gaming TV with a little burn-in. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that those are my general recommendations.
I mean, you're funny that you mentioned brightness because I have the LG CX and it's heavily in use. I don't know how many hours actually. I haven't noticed anything in terms of brightness, but maybe I should give it a try to measure it at some point. And
so that's you're right. So you have to measure the brightness, brand new, right? And then 5 years later, check that same brightness, and it may only be 100 nits. That 200 nits is not noticeable, really, right? Because it's logarithmic. But I think half brightness generally after 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, assuming a certain number of hours per day, 5 to 6 years is like the half-life of brightness for OLED.
Okay, that's actually a lot if you consider this from a numbers point of view, not a viewer's point of view. Because again, I'm pretty sure that if normal people, not nerds like we are, buying a TV, they will never notice anything. Maybe after 20 years that there's no picture at all anymore, they will notice now I need a new one. But you're right, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure my parents will not even, they will notice a difference between LCD and OLED, but that's it.
Well,
I think
here's
another thing to check for is the picture setting they are using, because a lot of people just leave the TV on power saving mode or something like that. So if you see someone who's probably been using their TV with power saving and all the protection features turned on, that TV is like almost, I mean, that's not going to be have any wear at all. For example, the plasma TVs are actually more susceptible to that, and they dim over time. The black level gets raised, and they're a lot more fragile. And I got this old Pioneer Kuro from 2008, and when I was inspecting the TV, it was in power saving mode, and the brightness was very low. And I thought, well, this is in pristine conditions.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good clue. Just check the settings, the TV setting they're using.
Marcus, can I just quickly jump in there, because I know you want to quickly keep up with the questions. Something I thought I'd just quickly show. I have a LG C1 that I purchased obviously back in 2021. I was just going to try and share the image, but basically I turned it on the other week. It's in another room that I don't use very often. So it's a C1, has 322 hours on it, which is basically nothing. And it's got dead pixels everywhere. So yeah, so I actually haven't used it. I was trying to share the screenshot. How do I do it, Marcus? Do I click on present?
Present and then
because it's just saying share screen. Because if I share my whole screen, which I don't want to do.
No, you can share slides, video file, and stuff like that.
Okay, but yeah, essentially I was pretty shocked. So that's just kind of what the guys were saying is obviously all valid points, and I'd say generally speaking, they are 100% correct. Here it is. I can just quickly share it. Can you see that at all?
Can you zoom in? Maybe zoom in.
Yeah.
So I've taken a few photos. So basically, when I turned it on the other day, I took a few photos. So there was about 6 or 7 pixels. So they're up in the top corner. Since then, the TV is still on 322 hours, and I probably have another 10 that have just popped up. So you can kind of see them a bit there, but that was just a shot I showed you to just with the hours and some of the pixels. Obviously, it's at 83, so it's a bit easier to see in person. But look, I've got extended warranty on that thing. That's got a 7-year warranty. So for me, I'm keeping that in my back pocket, and just before the warranty expires, I'm going in for a claim, and I'm going to get the latest OLED at the time when I go for the replacement. So I'm kind of happy about that in a way, but each to their own.
So Adam, you bring up a good point also, and this is inspired by the ratings longevity. Most of these TVs fail before you even get burn-in, and that goes through your pixel. It never even got to burn-in. So let's just take a step back. I say half-life after 5 or 6 years. It may not last 5 years before other things happen. The power board fails. The HDMI
in general,
port fails, right?
OLED is the lifespan from OLED is less than LCD, if you say it like that. But my CX has also a lot of pixel loss on the top frame. So it looks like really that a couple of pixels are really completely gone. So you can see it, but it's not really And I don't have extended warranty, so.
For me, that raised the question, is it hours or age? So that was a topic I wanted to discuss, because I've run into that same thing. I've got a TV that's a little bit older, but you saw the hours, 322. So, that brings the question, do OLEDs suffer from age?
Let me ask you. So I guess it was not like that when it was new, or maybe you didn't notice it.
No, it was not. I'm very meticulous,
Yeah, I mean, that can happen. But let me tell you, I've been thinking and doing a video, going to the store and zooming in with my phone camera, and brand new TVs have dead pixels. If you really look for them, you're not. It is likely that you're going to find some dead pixels. But yeah, that's very noticeable. Because it's maybe a bigger size too. It is more noticeable. But
you will find 40 pixels, definitely. And so when I checked my S95C, and my recommendation to everybody is just enjoy your TV. Don't look for anything, okay? Because as soon you find something, you will never unsee it.
Unless you have warranty, and then it's up.
But even then, the thing is with warranty, yes, you can replace your TV, but is the new TV better, what you get? Question mark. I doubt it. So I stopped looking for flaws. You know what I mean? Because with the S95C, I did it, and I found in the top left corner 1 pixel completely missing. And literally, because I'm sitting so close, every time I can see this one. So every time I was able to see this missing pixel with a certain color background, of course. So the fun part is, after couple of months, I checked again, and I know exactly where it was. It's not faulty anymore. And this can happen. This can happen because sometimes, they have a bad connection or whatsoever. Maybe it comes up when the TV has a certain temperature and then it goes bad, whatever. But don't look for it. Don't look for it.
Also, the issue you had with the G2, you touched the screen and it was getting fixed. It was like a false contact or something like that.
That's apparently to the guys I talked to. So unfortunately, I was not allowed to do any videos when they're repairing the thing. You know what I mean? I said, okay, if they don't want to be on film, then we don't do it. But they said when they're fixing G2 or G3 or whatever, or C2, then this is a very common thing. That there is, a very fine soldering point or whatsoever, which breaks over the time, and then all what I have to do is you press, and then the line was gone. It was fun. Yeah. Let me here. Let's continue a little bit with PlayStation 5 Pro before we continue or going into the TV section. AP wrote, got lucky with the PlayStation 5 Pro anniversary bundle. I mean, look, so here in Australia, there was no way to pre-order this actually, unless you're eBay Games member 5 level or whatever. I'm member 2 level, so you need to be very, very actually in a very and on JB Hi-Fi and all the other you enter what's the word, a ballot,
lottery.
A lottery. So I put all my names in, and then you get chosen. You know what I mean? So it's completely different than the US, where you just need to be the first. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I like to get one because and we need to understand it's just different colors, okay, people. So Sony is charging us, I think, here in Australia, $1,700 for the anniversary edition, which includes the PlayStation 5 Elite controller. Stand and disk drive, or not the disk drive, but the cover to match with the disk drive. So but yeah, I would like it. I would love to have it just for I don't know, collection point of view. Just for that. Okay, I'm going to the comment section. So again, we have, I think, give me a second. Oh, we have a super chat with nothing, just $5. Taito. Did you miss? I think it came up here again. Thank you so much. So he's asking, do you think that the PlayStation 5 Pro will also have the HDR always on feature like the base? Yes, absolutely. I know it's not native hard, but it will have the exact same features. It will have, unfortunately, not more features than the base PlayStation 5 Pro. That's the same. So I'm even not. We are last time I think we talked about HDMI and stuff like that. It will have the same HDMI chip inside and stuff like that. So Sony is not spending more money on that. That's hopefully coming with the PlayStation 6.
And I think it is such a missed opportunity to just add another feature to the box, like an auto HDR. That's going to improve all the games, even old games that don't even support HDR. It is really a miss because it is an enhancement that's not going to cost them to add a lot, more hardware or anything. It's just a software base.
Just to think about including AMD FreeSync to get on the same VRR level as the Xbox. Why they're not doing this? That's an open source. You can use it for free, as far as I understand. That AMD is not charging anything. So why they're not doing this? Why they're just using HDMI VRR, which is bad, which is absolutely bad.
There's no difference, is there? There's no real difference.
There is a big difference because HDMI. So first of all, you can then use AMD FreeSync works with HDMI 2.0 monitors as well, and you can also have a much better. You have LFC on board then. Low frame rate compensation with AMD FreeSync Pro, I think, is on board. It's a must that you have it included in the chip or hardware based, like Xbox. So every game on the Xbox, which falls below the VRR range, can use LFC, low frame rate compensation, out of the box. So on the PlayStation 5, the developer, the programmer, need to program this. They need to add this feature. I don't know how hard it is. Actually, maybe it's just a click nowadays, or just put a couple of libraries in. Maybe that's the case. But to have hardware support is always better, in my opinion, than software support. That's what I think. Or at least having a out of the box 120 hertz option like on the Xbox. Give me 120 hertz all the time on the PlayStation 5. I don't understand why this is not possible.
Absolutely. Hey, Pomo, let me ask you, is there any TV that has an auto HDR that's actually good? So basically any TV that has a processing feature to, make SDR look like HDR, more colorful, more brightness.
So, nope, not that I know of. Not that I know of. You would have to, yeah. I haven't seen a TV function do that. I'm gonna have to test it now that I think about it, but I don't think so.
So I heard something, and I'm not sure if this is correct, but there was just one comment on my channel, and I don't think it's correct, but this comment mentioned that the reason why Black Myth Wu Kang has no HDR support is because in China they're using Hisense TVs, or was it TCL or whatever? What is the most favorite brand in China?
TCL.
I can't remember. TCL probably. And TCL has some sort of an outer HDR functionality, which then, but I'm not quite sure about that, to be very honest.
Interesting.
So I'm not sure about this. I never heard about that, and why would you not include HDR just because of that? But maybe there's something like that. I'm not sure. I mean, not all the products what China is using we will ever see, probably. Maybe there are some TVs we don't know about it. Probably.
Yeah. I think it's better to use an outboard solution, because if you use internal apps, then it's SDR. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But there might be outboard solutions, an external box that will convert to HDR, like Chromecast. It converts everything to HDR. So if you watch content that's available on Google Chromecast, right, which I do, and your function is always HDR, they convert everything to HDR, even if it's natively SDR. And so I just tested it today. I was watching football. I'm like, this looks really weird. So I put it to match native. Of course, it's natively SDR, but the Chromecast converts to HDR, which it looks kind of HDR. So definitely certain streamers will do that if you're watching broadcast streams. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think with gaming is, of course, input lag. I mean, the solution would have to consider that, do it with low latency. So it is good for gaming. That's nice.
So beam me up, Scotty. Hey, how are you doing, buddy? Is PSSR false advertising, or is it better than FSR? So my personal opinion about FSR is it's sometimes really bad. It's really bad. I mean, FSR 3.1 probably is the one to go, but I think that PSSR is already on. So comparing or according to a couple of YouTubers that had hands-on on the PlayStation 5 Pro, it's very, very close to DLSS. If you actually can compare this, because it's very hard probably to compare, but apparently it's better than FSR. So this is what I heard. What you can read. I haven't tested this, and I think again it's very hard probably to do a proper testing. You would need to find a title which maybe supports FSR and then of course PSSR, and I think this will be a little bit difficult, but I think it's better. So because it's a native solution from Sony, you know what I mean, and it's probably pretty good, and I hope it's pretty good. So I'm just trying to go to the comments.
Yeah, and the thing is, with upscaling, it is very important how the base, TAA or the image, how good is the base image? Sometimes it's too challenging, and it just looks bad with anything you use. For example, Black Myth Wu Kang has a sharpening filter that looks very, very ugly. If you remove that, all the upscaling techniques are just gonna look better. So it's going to depend on the game too. And of course, you would have to compare them side by side. But if it's AI based, this AI word, it might be, of course, better than FSR. But I don't think that's a very high bar. So it is definitely realistic for it to be better than FSR.
Yeah. So Sai is asking, what do you think buying through EB upgrades? So EB Games is our our shop here for games, you know, in
GameStop.
Australia. Yeah, GameStop, yeah. Looks like I pay only $600 Australian with trade-ins. Was it? I mean, this is, as always, you know, people asking me, hey, I can get a G1 or whatever for $500. Is it worth it? I don't know. I really don't know. It's up to you. If you like to spend $600, if you, you know, you need to understand the full package. For me, PlayStation 5 Pro, if you have a PlayStation 5 already, I would probably, and if you struggle with money, let's say like this, I would probably not recommend to upgrade, because there is not a day and night difference. Believe me, there will be not a day and night difference. And all the games will still be out for the PlayStation 5. No worries at all. You know, just with a slightly less or slightly worse graphic, or maybe less frames or whatever, you know, but it will be still there. I'm just I'm going to the comment section. We have so many. So in terms of because we have a lot of 5090 comments as well. I predicted the 5090 in the US around $18,000. Am I wrong about the price?
It's probably 2,500.
Oh, okay, even better.
If the leaks are to be believed, the 5090 is gonna be, of course, a monster. You know, it's gonna be the best, of course, but it's going to be like really, really good, even in comparison with the 4080. The 4080 is just gonna be almost. I mean, it's not gonna be even close to the 5090, and they're saying it might be even 600 watts. Which, by the way, now that we have FOMO here, why do you think these TV manufacturers are so restricted with power? If we have NVIDIA, we have gaming PCs and consoles that they are allowed to use more power. Why high-end TVs especially? I don't think we are trying to save the planet with a $3,000 TV. That's not the goal.
Yeah.
Why are they so restricted?
So we need to ask the European Union, the EU about that, right? I mean,
they're stupid.
They specifically targeted TVs. No mention of GPU, no mention of data centers, right? All of that use so much energy. Every time we do a search right now, more energy to do a search on Google than people realize. Like if I use ChatGPT and I ask it to do something for me, and it takes more than 5 seconds, I'm spending a lot of energy right there in that instance. And people, they don't know. Somewhere in Iceland or somewhere, they're running 100 watts to get my answer. And so, but with the TV, it's easy. It's an easy target. Oh, TV. And so all the TVs come out of the box in, let's see, light sensor mode on, eco mode.
Yeah, my goodness.
Everything is
this
on,
is
so you can pass the test, and then you have to disable everything. But GPU untouched. Yeah,
it's crazy because, you know, if you just consider you have a 600 watt GPU, then high end CPU and whatever, and then your PC takes 800 watts easily. You know, no problem about that. But TVs, I don't know. But that's European Union. Just stupid idiots. Sorry.
What's the power consumption of your reference monitor, that HX31?
Oh, yeah. So that's because it's not a TV. It's not subject to any of that. There's no tuner. But it has like 4 internal fans. It doesn't even have a sticker. I don't even know what the power consumption is. But the fan, so you have 2 mode. You have the 1000 nit mode, which means it could go full screen 1000 nit, fans are blowing. And that's what I always use to test. But then my room gets hot in 30 minutes. It starts getting hotter and hotter.
So you save money because you don't need to heat.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that thing is very hot. And I can see why TVs they limit full screen brightness. So I now know why it's so important to have the brightness limiter, the ABL. It's to make sure they fit the brightness within the limitations of the law. So having an ABL means you never break wattage, basically.
Yes, but FOMO, why? I mean, that's 500 watts. Like, how much does that TV, that reference monitor goes beyond 500 watts?
I don't know. I really have to check the wattage. Yeah, I don't know.
It would be interesting,
So what I was thinking is why? I mean, because cooling, 4 fans. I mean, how many fans does your PC have, Marcus? Probably 6.
Yeah, a lot.
10 fans. So fans are not expensive. So reference monitors are not expensive because they have 4 fans for sure. Why is dual layer technology so expensive that we cannot have consumer TVs with dual layer LCD? Because LCD is not very expensive by itself.
450
so why
watts.
dual layer
I
is
just
so
saw it.
expensive?
450 watts. You're very close. So maximum consumption is 450 watts.
Okay.
Why not?
In Australia, we actually did have some Hisense dual layer TVs come out, and they absolutely flopped.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I almost purchased one.
But why? Because they were too expensive. Nobody bought.
They were very power hungry. I believe it's to do with like the 2 LCD screens and having to push that much light to get through 2 different layers. I remember in the store, the demo unit I actually had a little bit of time with, you could literally put your hands on the top of the TV and feel heat. Like, it was insane. But I just didn't think it was definitely better than all the other TVs out there, but I still wouldn't compare it to an OLED. But I just remember just the sticker was really very power hungry, and yeah, that was very expensive. But Hisense tried it in Australia. I feel like Hisense generally throws a lot of crap at the wall in Australia first, and then if it is somewhat successful, then they push it up.
Right.
Yeah, we're the dump here in the world.
Yeah, and so if it goes somewhat well in Australia, then it's like, okay, well, now we'll give it to the real market, the US. So we usually are the dumping testing ground at the beginning. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
That's great to try new things.
Yeah, we have to go to the chats. A couple of you have also super chats, but let me just answer this one. I have the LG G2 TV for my PlayStation 5 Pro. Good enough. Absolutely here. LG G2 rocks the house. Absolute fine. Don't upgrade, okay? No point at this very moment, in my opinion. Let's see what the LG G5 brings, but that's a different story, which I'm going to ask later. Just hang on. I like to highlight this super chat here. Why I can't do this?
Hey, one question before we jump from the reference monitor, FOMO. I would love really to know how good is the BFI option that reference monitor has, because on the website, it looks like it is absolutely incredible. It is insane good. And I've never seen any videos, no information, because even on their website, they do not tell you exactly what is the persistence. And so what is the the brightness? Is it accurate with that too?
That is insane. A good question, right? And the funny thing, it's an option. I think I have to pay like $1,000 to activate it. Wow. So there are certain options, BFI being one of them, that it's in there. But if you want a license to use it, I think they let you use it for 100 hours, and then you got to pay for it. So I'll see if I can test it and check it out, because I don't know what the BFI specs are, but I'll ask them. I'll ask Sony what your BFI, 120 hertz, who knows, please, right? I'll ask.
Please, FOMO, if you can somewhat, reach out to me so we can know exactly how good it is, because it's actually very simple to test with a UFO test. I can tell you exactly the number. What is the persistence? So that means how good is the motion clarity? Motion clarity is limited by persistence. We can know that, and that's a number that I think we are missing, honestly, from the TV reviews. They never test the backlight manipulation technology of the TV. Right. It was never tested. And I also see most of the time it is like, okay, you lose brightness, it's not even worth trying. And I don't think that's fair, because you're losing brightness, but maybe the motion gets improved immensely. So it might be worth it. For gaming, especially.
So bring up a good point. For me, now that the TVs are so bright, I'm talking OLED, the question becomes, it's always been the flickering that people tell me if you stare at it long enough, it goes away, but after 15 minutes, it still didn't go away. So if the flicker is not noticeable, I'm okay with the drop in brightness, because I've been playing with BFI on the G4 and the Panasonic Z95A. Brightness is acceptable, but I think you guys mentioned the BFI is only 60 hertz, so maybe that's why the brightness drop isn't huge. But I'm definitely okay. No flickering, brightness drop is completely acceptable, but it's not true 120. So
Yeah, but I mean, I
Okay.
tested an old Sony TV, an LCD TV that was 60 FPS for that flickering, backlight manipulation technology, and I couldn't see any visible flickering whatsoever. And in motion, that TV looks like a CRT. So my other question is why Sony is not just, it doesn't have that anymore. Does the Bravia 9 have that feature? Why
Because
not?
you're the only one who's using it.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the if they don't market, okay, so we all have products. If they don't market the feature, no one knows it exists, and you have to market it correctly, right? If they call it black frame insertion, what the hell does that mean? Like, we have to figure out what it means, how to use it, when to use it. I'm never told by any manufacturer when to use BFI. They just say, here it is, use it. Like, when? Like,
for what?
In
Why?
what situation do I turn it on? Right? No one ever tells you.
Well, let me tell you,
you guys do, but that's it.
It's very simple. You have 60 FPS on the games. That's still very blurry. When you move the camera, sample and hold, it looks very blurry. You cannot see what's going on. With that feature, it looks clear. Is that if you move the camera, you're panning your camera with your controller on your PS5 Pro, and it looks clear. That's
absolutely
awesome.
You know what? I will try that on.
Try the Game Motion Plus feature on the Samsung.
Yeah.
Try Game Motion Plus.
Yeah.
And then tell me how you like it. It's in my opinion a day and night difference, and there's no visible or no increased input lag. It's like crazy.
And by the way, on the PC, that Game Motion Plus, I was reading from the Samsung marketing material, and it's actually, if you enable 144 hertz, it would actually give you 144 frames instead of 120.
Oh wow!
Oh, I never tried this. I play with 60 FPS games on the console, and I'm enabling this, and it looks like 120. To be honest, it looks very good. Let me go to a couple of. We have a lot of super chats. So Tide2 again. Thank you very much. $20. There's again no comment, nothing. If you have, so we're getting lost at the moment. We have so many comments. Actually, I can't keep up with that. Even you put a Q in front, it's just not possible at the moment, to be very honest. Let's bring this up. HDK, thank you very much. I used Sony 42-inch A90K worth it for $550, despite being 2-3 years old in comparison to the latest LG C4 42-inch. Does it make sense to wait for next year? FOMO.
Well, definitely, if you're just streaming, watching movies, save your money, right? The C4, and you guys know this, it's designed for all these features, for HDMI, 48 gigabit, it has support for VRR, everything. The A90K was designed just to watch movies and streaming, and it's not as bright. But if you're watching in a bedroom, totally worth it because you're just streaming Netflix, whatever. But if you want to do any gaming, I mean, the latency is not great. You're not going to get all the features or game modes that's on the C4. So if you're a gaming enthusiast, I can't recommend it. But $550 for a streaming bedroom TV, absolutely.
Okay. Question answered, hopefully.
That's an OLED. Okay.
Yes, that's an OLED. That's the
Buddy, hey, how are you, buddy? He's always on the chat, actually. Or not always, but most of the times, I think. Thank you very much for contributing to help with the contusion here. I don't know what the word means. Contusion. The PlayStation 5 Pro left on your wallet, putting it in the ICU. Looking forward to the game testing. Yeah. I mean, look, again, going back to PlayStation, going back to spending money in general, first of all, it's a none's business where anyone is spending money, okay? First of all. So, because I know people, my best friend in Germany, he's buying every year new tires for his car because he needs them, okay? So within a year, the tires are gone. I can drive my car 5-6 years with the same tires, okay? So he's spending thousands of dollars just for that. And it's fine. It's what he likes to do. Okay, so when I'm reading comments like, "Oh, you're stupid to pay so much money," or whatever. No, it's up to me. Where I spend my money. So stop it, okay? Anyway. No, but it's I'm not wrong. Or come on, really, we can talk about if it is from a technical point of view a good thing. you know. But even then, you know, some people are happy with spending thousands of dollars just for new GPU to have 10, 20 frames more. You know what I mean? It's exactly the same. You upgrade now your GPU. That's exactly what the PlayStation 5 Pro is, an upgrade to get more frames. That's it. If you're not touching your CPU, you're not touching your hard drives, you're not touching anything, that's exactly the same. And you spend a lot of money just for having 10, 20, 50 frames more. That's how it is. I mean, someone needs to help me. Adam, you need to help me with the comments. Do we have...
Let me pull up this comment here.
Oh, sorry. You go ahead, and then you do again. And then we have JB.
Yeah, so it says, I pre-ordered the PS5 Pro mostly because I'm a perfectionist. And I want the best graphics and better frames. Also, it is probably best place to play GTA 6 when it drops. It makes a lot of sense, man. Definitely, GTA 6 is that game. You get a new console, you buy a new GPU. Now the thing is,
will it be 60?
Wise. The thing is, it would be wise to wait to see what it takes to run GTA 6 with that fidelity, with those graphics you're looking for, because Rockstar. They don't really care too much. They give you 30 FPS, and even when they have the possibility to have a patch for the PS5 so it runs at 60, it is totally possible if they just tweak the settings. They don't do it. And based on that trailer from GTA 6, in my opinion, it's looking like the best thing we've ever had. It looks incredible. So many NPCs. I don't think the CPU of that PS5 Pro is gonna be good enough to give you that 60 FPS plus experience. I hope I'm wrong, but they are pushing the graphics so much that I don't think that's gonna be.
I think Starfield is a very good example where we can compare, because Starfield, in the beginning on the Xbox 30 FPS locked, and then we got all the other graphic options. But and I saw so many videos. Oh, now Starfield, I can play it up to 100 FPS. Yeah, if you look down or look just up, you have 100 FPS, correct. But as soon you play the game, you're in the city or whatever, you fall down to 30, 35, 40 FPS again, because the CPU is not strong enough to keep up. So, and this is the big question, you know what I mean? We have literally no improvement in terms of, I think it has a little bit of a higher speed on the PlayStation 5 Pro CPU. And I think that's what it is, but nothing else, It will be not a big difference. So if GTA 5 or if a game on the can't run 60 FPS on a base PlayStation 5, it will not be, so because of CPU limitation, it will be not possible on the PlayStation 5 Pro. That's my opinion.
Yeah. One thing I'll add in there is I don't recall any of the PS5 Pro advertising specifically saying higher frame rates. Weren't they mostly discussing higher fidelity and graphical improvements? So one of the things that frustrates me is I'm into the jailbreaking scene. So I've got a PS5 that I've jailbroken, and you have to ask yourself, with a jailbroken PS5, I can get certain patches for certain games that will unlock higher frame rates that the console is actually capable of doing. You got to ask yourself, and this is another reason why I've not purchased the Pro, is if the Pro can't deliver or they won't unlock higher frame rates on the Pro, won't you be annoyed when someone who has just a base PS5 with a jailbroken OS, I can unlock that frame rate myself? So what does that tell you? That for things like that to me says a lot. I don't know what kind of sacrifices these patches and jailbreaks are doing to achieve that, but quite often these games can do that. They might not be locked. Maybe that's the reason they haven't unlocked that frame rate, but I just haven't seen Sony discussing a lot of frame rate improvements. It just seems like it's just subtle graphical fidelity improvements.
The improvement, and this is what some people really mistaken or don't understand. We're talking about now we get the fidelity mode plus probably better resolution plus PSSR in 60 FPS. So that's what you played in 30 FPS. Now you get the same quality, even a better quality in 60 FPS. That's what most of the time is the advertising, okay? And of course we have then GT7 with 8K announcement or whatsoever. No one needs 8K, by the way. But anyway, yes. Yeah.
And the other thing is,
we will see.
I heard from some leaks that it might have an option to overclock the CPU 10% and lose like 2% or 1 point something percent on the GPU performance.
Oh, okay.
So that's the PS5 Pro. So yeah, it might give you a little bit. I mean, 10% improvement is not insignificant when we're talking about that 60 FPS range. That might be like 4 frames.
But
4 or 5
look,
frames.
even a 40 FPS mode for GTA would be a huge improvement over 30.
Yeah.
So because I didn't believe that actually, but when I played Ratchet & Clank, I think was the first 40 FPS game, and the difference is really crazy. 30 FPS is crap on an OLED. 40 FPS is the absolute bare minimum in my opinion. Of course, 60 FPS should be the minimum, but you get my point.
Marcus, sorry, can I just jump on this question quickly? With the C, because I have a C1 and I also have a G4. Man, that question, PS5 Pro and a C1, absolutely yes. I have them in 2 different rooms, obviously. Man, I have no problem going from playing games on my G4 to walking into the other room and having an equally enjoyable time on the C1. Man, the C1 is still such a good TV. I think that's one of the best TVs I've ever purchased. So I think you have no problems enjoying your PS5 Pro on the C1, just to keep it simple.
Well, let me tell you something else. With the C1, you do have this BFI
I knew you
feature
were
that
going to bring
works
that
very
up.
nice. And at 60, most of the games you might be able to run at 60, hopefully locked 60 FPS. If you have that on a game, you get 60 hertz output from the PS5 Pro, and you use OLED Motion Pro High, this setting, and it's going to improve the motion in 2.6x. So basically, 60 FPS is going to look like 153 frames per second. So that's a massive improvement. Now, the thing is, for some people, it flickers a lot at 60, and it depends on the person. So flickering perception depends on the person. So for some people, it might be unbearable. For some people, might not even notice it at all. So if that's you, you're blessed. So you can get a lot better, motion clarity when you're panning the camera with the C1. So for other TVs, for example, the C1 in comparison with other TVs is that other TVs like the C2, C3, C4, they have black frame insertion, BFI. So the C1 doesn't have it. It does have a BFI with a medium at 100 or 120, but it has a scrolling scan. So it's not doubling the frame, it's not doubling the motion clarity. It's more than doubling the motion clarity because it's reducing the persistence more than half. But the C2, C3, C4, what they do is they just have 120 hertz and they insert a black frame in between. So you double the motion clarity and you lose brightness in half or more.
FOMO, you happy to answer this one here from Kivansley?
This is a good question. What are the chances LG switching to QD-OLED when in the near future it's being slapped around by Sony and Samsung when it comes to color brightness, saturation, and all that good stuff? I completely agree. QD-OLED is the superior technology to WOLED. So the question actually, I have to pull it apart. So you have LG Display, which makes WOLED panels for everybody. And you have LG Electronics, which could buy its OLED panels from LG Display or from Samsung. So technically, LG Electronics, like Sony, can source their OLED from Samsung and offer a QD-OLED. Here's the problem. It let LG Display borrow a lot of money to stay relevant. So it cannot jeopardize LG Display's finances by going out and paying Samsung. So it's kind of trapped. If it wants to be repaid by LG Display, it needs to buy all the panels from LG Display. So they're really tied very closely together. The issue is LG Display is so invested in making WOLED. For them to retool, it's not that it isn't possible. They just don't have the money. They need more investment money. So as an example, Samsung Display invested billions over 3 years to completely retool and start OLED from scratch, QD-OLED. LG does not have that money, and they have nowhere of getting it. And the money they borrowed from LG Electronics is to expand WOLED. Well, they already took the money. They're already doing WOLED. There's nothing left. So the answer is it's very unlikely for LG Electronics to go to QD-OLED because it cannot jeopardize LG Display's livelihood. It's sad to say. Whereas Samsung Electronics can do both. It buys all the QD-OLED it wants from Samsung Display, and they buy it from LG because they sell so many TVs that they take OLED from any supplier they can get. So, but LG Electronics does not sell enough TVs to do that. And if you guys look at their numbers, they are slowly falling behind TCL and Hisense mini LED sales, which is a shocker, right? So we know a 65-inch OLED around 1,500 to 2,000. Well, people are taking that same money and getting a larger premium TCL at 75 to 85 inches. They're not saving money. They're spending the same, but getting larger. And LG is like, oh, what do we do now? Because we can't drop prices any further. LG Electronics and LG Display, I think, has an existential crisis in the next 3 years if they don't think of something fast.
Hey, FOMO, would the implementation of a phosphorescent blue subpixel eliminate the need for a white subpixel, or would that still be necessary?
So if you look at cell phones and smartphones and tablets, they don't use a WOLED. So the answer is yes, right? Tandem is being used on smartphones, direct RGB. So the phosphorescent would be used in direct RGB technology that's being used right now, just replacing the fluorescent. The problem is taking that technology and making it into a TV size. It's completely different. They don't have that yet. They've never successfully made a TV with direct RGB. And that's what the first implementation of phosphorescent blue OLED is. They have to figure out, wow, how do we eliminate burn-in? That's what W and WOLED does. It eliminated burn-in. So Samsung has amazing direct RGB for smartphones, but if you make it into a TV, they had burn-in. That's why they gave up. So LG says, you know what? We'll create WOLED. And then finally, Samsung Display did QD-OLED and had multiple layers of blue, so you don't have burn-in. So the question is, what can LG do to get rid of the W? If they get rid of the W, you reintroduce burn-in. And that's why right now they're hitting lifetime on the blue phosphorescent so hard. The lifetime is way too short. So the first stage of lifetime is for smaller products that doesn't get us hot, and perceptually it doesn't need to get us bright, right? They could do a lot of tricks with a smaller like a tablet size that's $800. People don't think it's expensive. You take the same size and you make it 65, $8,000 maybe, $7,000. Like, we can't even sell this. This is too expensive.
But
so
Pomo,
it doesn't scale well.
Another thing, if that blue gets better with fluorescent or phosphorescent fluorescent combination, like you were explaining on your video, which I watched, can they use that on QD-OLEDs too? And now how can LG compete with that?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
If just the blue gets better with the LG TVs, but now with QD-OLED, like everything just gets better because you have basically a backlight that's made of blue OLEDs, right? With that quantum dot layer. So if they just replace that, now how is LG going to compete with that?
So LG WOLED TVs have to get rid of the white subpixel first. So whatever the technology they use, hybrid, tandem, it doesn't matter. The W is diluting their color saturation. It's diluting, it's the luminance. You can get bright white, but there's no color above a certain number of nits. The dilution effect is so great at certain brightnesses, and even at lower brightnesses, you lose color. It's just this dilution effect of the white subpixel, but only for us enthusiasts, where we use special tests and special movies and we notice it, right? But if they want to ever compete at the highest level, they have to get rid of that W, and the problem is it's not easy. Short of licensing and buying from Samsung Display, the QD-OLED technology, which successfully got rid of the W, the white subpixel. But that white subpixel plus color filter, it dilutes way too much color. Now, we see it because we have content, games and stuff, but if you're watching Netflix, you really won't notice the difference, because I run Netflix between the G4, A95L, and the S95D. Most of the time, can't tell the difference.
Interesting. Before we continue with comments, let me ask all the people in the on the stream and comment section, please do me a favor, like, share, subscribe to all of our channels, okay? We would much appreciate that. And now let's go to Nathan's comment. The fact that they are redoing Horizon Zero Dawn when it's already incredible is just silly. Give us Bloodborne at 60 FPS. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But it's a easy cash grab for them because they're just tweaking a little bit here and there, and then $9.99 for the upgrade. You know, if you already own the game. If not, you play it twice now. That's Marcus, what it is nowadays. Yeah.
They have.
That's what I was talking about with my jailbroken PS5. I have Bloodborne at 60 FPS because there's
you can play it. Yes, Digital Foundry made a video about this as well. Yeah, it's possible.
That's why I'm frustrated with the PS5 Pro. Is, you know, you're bringing out all this new hardware. You're certainly charging a premium for it, and I've got my base PS5 and it's jailbroken, and I'm getting things that should be available, and it runs absolutely perfectly. There is no loss in any kind of performance or graphics fidelity I can see. So again, why I'm not buying a Pro.
Question is why they're not doing this actually. Why they're not giving us, I mean, maybe they're waiting really for the right time and then just.
It could be the developers. They don't care about it anymore. Like they've made their money. They've moved on. Why would they, you know, invest half an hour in writing a simple patch to unlock the frame rate? You know what I mean? They can charge later for a remaster at 60 FPS.
By the way, Bloodborne is almost, I mean, it is almost playable on the PC now with an emulator. It is running, improving by the day, and they are adding, you know, higher resolution textures, you know, better shadows, better lighting. So I guess in a year from now, you can play Bloodborne on the PC, emulate Bloodborne on the PC, and it's gonna be just flawless.
Yeah. Let me answer this one, or let's go to this comment. Taito again. Thank you very much for your contribution. If only the PlayStation 5 Pro had Dolby Vision, it would be perfect. Love gaming and streaming on my Series X because of it. I made a couple of videos about Dolby Vision. For me, it's a dead horse. You know, you shouldn't for gaming. Okay, not for Netflix and co. Of course, that's a different story. But in regards of gaming, it's just that, because there's literally just one single game on the Xbox Series X which supports the native Dolby Vision, and that's Halo Infinite. That's it. Okay, on the PC I think we have 3 or 4 games which supporting Dolby Vision gaming, but it's very hard to set this up on the PC. It's not plug and play. So for me, Dolby Vision is dead at the moment.
I just want to touch on that comment I brought up. First of all, I'm not condoning piracy. I own the game. I jailbreak my PS5 for other reasons, but just kind of dropping that one in there on that comment. So yes, I'm not supporting piracy if that's what people are getting from my comments. It's my comments are more based around the system is actually capable of doing certain things, and the fact is, it's like the iPhone. People used to jailbreak them back in the day because they wanted to change icons or change wallpapers. Like all that stuff now has been opened up, but for me, I choose not to upgrade, and it's not about piracy at all. It's just about being able to get the system to do what I want.
Hey, FOMO, can I ask you, talking about tone mapping and Dolby Vision, all of that, why is it so strange to have these TV manufacturers offer an HGIG option, especially Sony? Because Sony is all about accuracy, right? So they know that, you know, follow the EOTF as close as possible, and no dimming other than ABL. So yeah, a little bit of, you know, tone mapping due to ABL, but not, you know, for other reason. I think their tone mapping is awful. Classy was jumping in on the previous live stream, and he was explaining how the tone mapping works on the Samsung, on the Sony A95L, and I think that's atrocious. It's very, very bad because it basically defaults to a 4,000 nits tone curve. And if you follow the instructions on the PS5 system level calibration, although I know there is like a way to automatically, you know, set that up. But let's say you're on the PC or on a different system, you follow the instructions to set up your HDR, and where the logo is clipping, where it disappears, if you set it up there, it looks terrible. So it is not a great calibration at all, coming from Sony.
So that's we have to kind of take a few things apart. So Sony TV specifically, they've not done well with tone mapping bright scenes. So if it's, and I've seen this in the before A95L for sure. If I have any scenes above 1500 nits, it clips. It cannot even do it. 2000 nits, 4000, it doesn't matter. It will not tone map at all. So the A95L and the Bravia 9, well, Bravia 9 is way better than A95L. The Bravia 9 for the first time is tone mapping bright down and the curve is correct. So maybe PS5 gaming on the Bravia 9 should be awesome because the tone mapping should be excellent. Or PC, right? PC gaming, as you're saying. PS5, so this is maybe why Sony has that quote unquote direct connection to the PS5. I haven't compared it to accuracy. I just know that Sony tone maps directly between the PS5 game engine and the TV, the later TVs. So, I don't know, 2022, 2023, 2024. Certain models, if you plug in to the PS5, it'll have a flag, hey, we recognize your TV, this is a PS5. And technically, it should be tone mapping correctly if the TV says that. Now, that's the theory. How will they do it? I honestly haven't checked it out, but at least that solves a few problems. You don't have to go in there and hand tone map it. You could still override it by matching the white boxes, right? But Sony tone mapping has not done well beyond their reference preference, which is under 1000 nits, great. But as you hit 1500 nits and above, doesn't matter what the content is not good. But the Bravia 9 is good. It does that pretty well. I have to check the Bravia 7. But yeah, I've been very disappointed with earlier Sony TVs above 1500 nits. They clip, and there's no way for me to get it rolled off earlier, short of going in there with calibration settings or whatnot. But just the basic settings in HDR, gradation preferred, brightness preferred, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not only Sony. The only TV manufacturer that has HDIG is LG. Like through HDIG.
Officially HDIG, yeah. Right.
Mm.
And I think that should be there for all TV manufacturers. Especially,
I'll say this: the Panasonic Z95A comes very close to HDIG. It's true gaming mode. I got it to look nearly identical to the G4 in HDIG. Now I have to use more challenging HDR, but the Panasonic is doing very well. I think.
And what is the target? 1500 nits or 2000?
1500 nits is safe. I don't know. I have to see 2000.
Okay.
But I mean, and I know 1500 nits is easy, but still, it's still good to see the colors are very similar out of the box. These are uncalibrated, right? So the G4 uncalibrated and the Z95A, they have the setting where it feels like all the shadow detail, the peak brightness, and everything in between, they're matched very well against the G4. I just wish all the manufacturers would have an actual HGIG setting. So you don't have to experiment with 3 different settings to get it matched, because that's what I have to do. Like, okay, so I see the G4 here. Let's play with the Z95A until I get there. I go, okay, now I see what it did. Yeah, it's not easy as it should be.
Can anyone read this comment? I would love to know what SD95. I can see this.
Absolutely.
Yes, go.
He's asking if the S95C is a good TV for gaming. For the PS5.
I would say so.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
but you have to answer.
If that's what he said.
In Korean.
Oh, guys, I forgot to tell you guys. I have to head out. I completely forgot. I lost track of the time. But totally enjoyed your stream. I'm gonna jump out, but I'll leave it streaming on my channel. So I'll be gone. My logo will be up. But hey, thank you so much for having me. And,
no worries. Thank you for being here.
Anytime, guys. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much.
See you, man.
See you. Bye.
Thank you.
So we have still a lot of comments here, actually, a lot of comments. So, and I apologize actually, because so many people are today in the stream on the stream. I can't keep up. We can't keep up actually.
We had a superstar today, so that's why.
That's why, yes. So now it's dropping suddenly. Now what he's good, I like him. He has a lot of knowledge, and that's good. Good questions asked, Ariel. Thank you.
I actually had a question for him. It's a shame I didn't get to ask it. It was around, I saw a video where a TCL TV had MLA on it. Have you guys heard about that before?
No.
No, yeah. It was a video on Linus Tech Tips I was watching. They were saying that this, I think it was 100 or 115 TCL TV that they imported to Canada. It was basically banned anywhere outside of China, because in China they don't care too much about patents and things like that. Obviously you can't export it when there's patent protections, but there was a TCL TV that had MLA on it, and they were talking about it, and I wanted to ask him if he'd heard about that, because that blew my mind. I didn't think they had any other TVs had that technology on it.
I think TCL is innovating more than anyone, because they are talking about 3D, which is something I wanted to also ask FOMO. They are coming with some AK 3D, glassless 3D TVs that are inkjet printed, so through RGB OLEDs. That's incredible. That's amazing. Give me that. That's a nice upgrade.
Hey, D-Badge, first of all, welcome to the stream. No, you did not miss it. We're still talking about PlayStation 5 Pro and all the other stuff. And by the way, I pre-ordered one. Yes, sue me. I don't care, really. I pre-ordered one, and I'm looking forward to test it. And we have this comment here. Matt Lee, $1.99. Thank you very much. Buy OLED for PlayStation 5. Should I worry about burn-in? No, not at all. I wouldn't bother about this anymore, especially when you bought a recent OLED TV or whatever. No, I to be honest, don't even bother. Just enjoy it, and that's it. Yeah,
those days are gone. I think that's old talk. It's just very irrelevant now. The new TVs have so much technology built into them to mitigate any of that kind of stuff. I just don't think it's a discussion anymore.
I think you should be mindful, though, because there are some games that have HUDs, and there are some people who only play that game. So I'm thinking about Genshin Impact, for example. You have like a big number, it's huge on the screen. It never goes away, not even during cutscenes. So for those people who only play that, that's gonna burn it for sure. You play that for 2 years. I mean, that never goes away. That's all you play. So it's just to be a little bit, aware of it. But yeah, you don't have to babysit the TV either.
No.
Don't a lot of the OLEDs have now these compensation, not a compensation cycle, but there's a setting where they can detect static elements and they dim those elements. Like, for example, when I watch sports, I have like the sports logo in the top right-hand corner, and I notice over time that logo gets really dim because it's detected there's a static element there.
Yeah, the thing is, it dims the whole screen, so I turned that off.
It dims the whole screen, That's the thing.
But yeah, you can use that.
Yeah, so Miguel, thank you very much. I have a 5.1.4 speakers. Okay, great. So 4 subs. That's actually interesting. I used a good upmixer, so it's worth it. The audience is too small for studios to invest time and money. HDR, same problem. Yeah, I agree with you. So sound is next to, I think sound is maybe even sometimes more important than picture quality, to be very honest, depending on what you watch or what you play, I mean, if you watch a horror movie, whatever, and the sound upmix or the quality is just crap, it's not the same. A sound is very, very important, you know what I mean? So I fully agree, but that's, I never experienced Dolby Atmos, by the way, never, just in cinemas, and it's not a great experience because you never sit in the right spot, but yeah. Sound is very important. Yeah.
I'll show you when you arrive at my place in a couple of weeks, Marcus.
No worries, yeah. So I have just a 5.1 system, okay? But this is more than enough, in my opinion, right now. It's just great. It's just amazing. And it really depends on the games, If you have a bad game, just stereo upmix, not good. I really don't know what you... Ariel?
Yeah, so he's asking if... Yeah, of course, I understand that. That's Korean, I think.
Sorry, I don't know.
It is Korean.
It looks like I have no idea. So can you use where's my phone? You can
actually translate it.
Because I really like to know. So how does it work? Where's my Google? I really like to know.
While we're waiting for Marcus, one other thing I'd like to touch on is quite often a lot of the TV channels we watch, they don't really touch too much on the receivers. So from what I understand, like FOMO, generally plugs all of his devices, and most people do, straight into the TV. And I think that's a discussion we should have at some point, is because just based on that last question, he obviously had a home theater set up, because I have a home theater set up with my G4, and I plug all my devices into my receiver, then which passes that through to the TV. And I've owned a Sony TV, a Samsung TV. Now I have my LGs. And out of all of them, LG was the only brand that spoke HDMI CEC correctly. Like every other TV struggled with sending the CEC commands up the chain and getting everything right. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So when you press a button that sends it to the receiver, then the receiver sends it up to the TV, especially with gaming, every other brand aside from LG just couldn't get CEC right. So if you do have a receiver or a gaming 2.1 gaming receiver, I think LG is the only way to go. I just think LG are the gaming TVs. If gaming
and how
is your
much
priority,
is that? How much is that receiver you're talking about?
The price I paid for it? Or,
yeah, no, how much it costs, like, usually?
Well, it depends what receiver you get. There's low-end Onkyo ones that have HDMI 2.1 ports. I got the Yamaha RX A6A that has 7 HDMI 2.1 ports on the rear. So I love the fact that I can just, press a button on my PlayStation, my receiver turns on, switches to the PlayStation input, sends the command up to my TV, the LG turns on, it knows. Even on the LG, even though everything's connected via one HDMI cable, if the PS5 is on, the LG identifies that input as PS5. Normally a lot of TVs would struggle with that. If I turn on my Apple TV or my Xbox, that HDMI input, the HDMI 3, changes to Xbox or Apple TV on the actual TV's display. So for me, that's showing like LG's really got CEC right. Where I had Samsung, I had the 8K Neo QLED. I had nothing but problems with that TV. Every screen dropouts, CEC issues. So just something I think that at some point we could probably touch on a bit more. But how did you go, Marcus? Did you translate that comment?
So he actually said he bought the S95D and also the PlayStation 5 Pro, and he tried to get the 30th anniversary edition. And if he's lucky, he's buying this as well. Yeah, good on you. Good on you.
Cool.
Look at that.
Cool
It's
setup.
going the extra mile to understand the
Absolutely. For all that's what I'm doing from now on. It's easy. Come on, with Google Translate, it's easy, but
I have an AV receiver from 1999, and it's a Yamaha one. It sounds amazing if it works, but it consumes a lot of power. It gets very, very hot. I think it's like 400-500 watts. It's insane. But from 1999, it's still working, and it works amazing.
So I'm not talking, hey, everything PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm not talking about this cheap Logitech 5.1. I have a proper sound system in my other room with floor speakers, and they are a complete different world to this toys here, okay? So, but this is already also not bad. So I'm actually surprised because I paid for this just $199 for this 5.1 system, which is a plug-and-play system, and I'm really impressed from this quality when we're talking about the price, okay? Of course, as soon I'm going into the other room and I play the exact same game and you have proper floor speakers, but I spend so much more money for this. So, but don't get me wrong, sound is very important, absolutely.
But let me ask you, would I notice any difference if I have the same speakers and if I change the receiver and they both support the same speaker, same power? Would I notice any quality difference?
In terms of AV receiver?
In terms of the sound quality. Let's say I have a reference speaker, like a small reference speaker, for example, and I change the receiver. Would I notice any
usually not
difference on the quality?
So first of all, usually the high-end AV receiver should not differ in sound. Not in quality, the sound in sound in general, because what you like to have is actually the same with picture. You like to see exactly the source on your screen. So you like to hear the source on your speakers, you know. So in the very beginning of AV receiver, that's how I experienced. If you bought Harman Kardon or Denon or whatever, they had a little bit of a difference in terms of the sound. So I think the Denon was more warmer and a warmer sound than the Harman. If you prefer this, yes. But usually when you buy nowadays, so that's my experience. Nowadays there's no difference anymore in sound because they're trying to get you the most audiophile or whatever the fidelity in terms of sound. So all what the AV receivers are doing is probably more likely the features like the other TVs. You know, that's about it. You know, you get different features. But I like to answer this: if you have an expensive TV, you don't need an AV receiver. I disagree on that completely.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't know if that question we're interpreting that correctly, but
yeah,
they're two separate things that work together in tandem. So if you have an expensive TV, that's great. You have a great display, but the receiver is essentially to kind of level up your audio game. So if you have a good set of speakers and things like that, I think that's completely disagree. I think it's a choice. Some people I know happy with the TV speakers. Man, I've seen that Logitech system. I had one of them a long time ago. I had it for 10 years. The thing died, but it was unreal to the day.
For this price, it's really crazy, you know, but it's a price question, you know. But Matt is in the house. Hey, Matt, how are you doing, buddy? And he is right. eARC on most TVs will have audio sync issues. Yes, I fully agree. It's I don't know why this actually is the case, because it shouldn't be. It's just digital, you know, pass through. Why do we have audio sync issues? I don't understand this. But I talked about this in one of my videos. I think that as soon I changed my AV receivers a couple of years ago, and then my eARC synchronization problem went away actually. So the problem is that this is not even it's a standard in my opinion. It is a standard, but even they don't give a crap actually to make it work on all the TVs and stuff like that. It's a shame, to be honest.
So D-Batch says, I upgraded to a better receiver, more range, and yes, same speaker sounded better on my new system. Mind you, I got a new one this year,
years old.
And the old one was 12 years old.
Okay.
So it is possible, basically. Yeah. So he's saying, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but upgrade a 12-year-old TV to a new one. I mean, come on, what you get?
Well, mine is from 1999, so that's why I have.
And also, I have to say something. So just because you buy, so let me tell you something. So I got from my dad back then his old setup, okay, and I know he was into audio, okay, and this was just stereo back then, okay. And I bought my first AV receiver then, and I still had this in use with the same speakers. And the stereo setup for my dad sounded much better than my AV receiver because it was much better quality. So just because this is 12 years old or whatever doesn't mean it sounds bad. It probably quite the opposite, because nowadays, as we know, they're trying to save money on everything. They're putting cheap parts in and stuff like that and just overloading crap with features and not with quality anymore. So, but yeah, and it's up to you as well. So, and probably maybe the 12-year-old receiver was not, I don't know if it was capable of handle the speakers, because this is sometimes what people doing wrong. You know, they're buying speakers, they don't know the impedance and stuff like that, know the wattage and stuff, and then wondering why as soon they having a little bit of a louder music playing or whatever, why the speaker sounds bad. You know, it's not the speaker, then it's the AV receiver who can't keep up with the power. But yeah, good on him. We have here another one. Let me do this. No, you skipped it.
Those Japanese.
Here, Taro Rodriguez says, have a Yamaha receiver from 2008, 7.2. Using optical, like having everything straight connected to my TV. Yeah, I use optical on that old Yamaha receiver too.
Optical is fine.
I think it is really incredible. Such an old electronic device that still works very well. But it's like you're saying, Marcus, when you open that, and I open that to clean it up, I noticed that this looks rock solid. This looks like it's gonna last forever.
Absolutely, that's how they do. And let me tell you one thing. So if you go to buy speakers, and maybe it's just bookshelf speakers or whatever. Pick them up, okay? Pick them up and see how heavy they are and stuff like that. Because all what you need to know is speakers. First of all, of course, they should be heavy because of the what's the right word in English? The audio, the sound resonance. No, not the drivers, but so drivers as well. But if you have very, let's say, very thin MDF wood or whatever, and they're vibrating all the time, you hear this as well. Speakers must be heavy like crazy, in my opinion. That's how it is. The more sturdy. The more sturdy they are, the better, in my opinion. Because with the drivers and the speakers, there are not many manufacturers. They actually it's same with displays. You know what I mean? So of course you have probably more audio companies. They're making their own drivers and stuff like that. But at the end, the high-end drivers are more likely the same. There is not much because it's physics. You know what I mean? There's not much what you can do change. But the housing or the box itself, is very important in my opinion. But we're going to audio. Okay, we should have an audio. But it's important. Come on, it's important, really. But let me try to answer this one here from Dan. Thanks to Google. I love Google. Don't share your data with Google. Okay. No, that's Japanese. Does Ariel understand Japanese? No, I don't think so. He was just playing. So this means, does Ariel understands Japanese? He tried to, and he convinced me for 1 second.
It seems like I guessed it right.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So do we have a super chat here? Just hang on. No, this was the super chat. Thank you very much.
Guys, if you have any questions, just chuck them in the stream before we wrap up today.
So Matt is saying QD-OLED is RGB additive color. WRGB is non-additive. I can easily see the color purity difference. Let me ask
I can too. Really.
Let me ask you, Matt, because a lot of I see like a cult that they like plasma TVs, and they talk about that the color purity of the colors is just better with plasma TVs because they are through RGB. So why is that? What is there any truth to that? And you're saying yes, that definitely exists. What I can see is if I record with my camera, on the recording, the plasmas look amazing. They look, of course, if you don't have any issues with the flickering or something like that, they look very good on camera. You don't see, like, for example, you record a WRGB OLED and you see a shift in color. It looks like green, or maybe you record a QD-OLED and it looks magenta or something like that. But plasmas, they look very good on camera. And yeah, they have a lot of advantages. So why is that, purity of colors? Why is that? Because it's just RGB, or if there is more to it? You're saying additive color. I guess plasmas are also, but I don't know, just shine a light on that.
That's if you know. Probably because of the white subpixel. That's the problem, And he's right. So I play a game or watch a movie on the G2 behind me, especially games, because sometimes games, or let's say also Nintendo games, because they're very colorful, And as soon you have, you go and play the very same game on the S95C, the colors looking much, much better. So I would say they're cleaner. Let's say like this. They're not oversaturated. I'm not talking about you have suddenly, oh my God, it's oversaturated. No, they're cleaner. You can distinguish the colors better, in my opinion, because of the missing white subpixel. I don't know. It's hard to explain for me as non-native.
Yeah, but he's
English
saying,
speaker,
not only that, he's saying something about additive color versus non-additive color, which I don't know really what it is. I guess, if you add blue and green, you get this color or something like that on a piece of paper, that it has something to do with that.
Yeah, I can't answer this. I just know the QD-OLED is better. Yeah, no, it's easy, but yeah. Maybe you can answer, yeah. I'm just scrolling through the comments again, and guys, I really, appreciate all the comments. Absolutely fantastic today. Do you think micro LED will be the end game TV someday? No, there will be something else after micro LED, probably. But
it is nano
maybe.
LED. Actually, I watched a speculation video that they were saying that, I think it was Linus Tech Tip, actually. They were saying that nano LED is gonna be cheaper, and it's actually going to make micro LED like obsolete because it's so much more expensive, and nano is gonna be even better. So it's going to take over. It's gonna be super cheap. Nano LED.
So a micro LED is already end of life, and we even can't buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah. That's how it is. Yeah. I'm not sure about that. I'm you know, as soon as it's available, I can talk about it. It sounds good, but it's still an LCD screen at the end, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's just self-emissive. That's the biggest difference.
Yeah,
micro LED can give you perfect blacks, perfect contrast.
Yeah. Let's see. So what do we have here? There's so many comments, really. Thank you very much, guys. The PlayStation 5 Pro isn't on par with a 4070. Yeah, but Digital Foundry actually said, okay, it's close to a 4070. That's what they mentioned. But at the end, we never know, probably, because we need to wait until it's really released, and then we can compare. But again, I found this discussion actually a little bit, so between PC versus PlayStation 5 Pro, it's not even, sorry to say that, but if you like to have a very easy plug and play experience for your money, then go with a PlayStation, you know, because it's always the thing. And
now with the PS5 Pro, based on that Digital Foundry video, they're gonna have, some games are going to have a lot of modes, like 4 modes at least. So yes, they default to something, but you're gonna have a lot of options. That's they might just as well, you know, give you a graphics menu option and use VRR and get, you know, whatever the frame you can get. That would be better.
So this one I can answer. What do you think about Samsung S95C? The best OLED TV I ever had. That's a very quick answer. Best for gaming and everything. You know, I just love it. I just love it.
And you haven't had issues with the dropouts and all?
No, I have this. I made a video about this. So as soon my HDMI cable is, let's say, longer than 3 or 4 meters, I have dropouts. So, but I bought the HDMI fiber cable, and my PC is here in this room, and I have a 15 meter HDMI fiber cable in my next room, and I have no dropouts anymore. PC HDR 144 hertz VRR, no drops out anymore.
Nice.
I don't know if this is really I don't know really, but that's a thing what Samsung needs to work on. Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. You can't have a high-end TV and then you have dropouts when you connect a PlayStation or whatever.
My 8K Neo QLED was plagued with dropouts. It was absolutely embarrassing. I couldn't play any games in 120 FPS without dropouts, at least one every 3 or 4 minutes. It was actually really bad by the end.
Yeah, that's not, I don't know if they can, if they actually had some firmware updates or whatever to mitigate this problem, but I'm not sure about that.
So Matt says that the cameras, they show spectral differences. That's why, you know, different TV technologies look different on camera. Plasmas are loved due to motion and natural spectrum of light. 1080p will look better since it is native resolution. 1080p on the plasma TVs look very good because it is self-emissive too. So you have good contrast, and the motion is almost 4 times better than sample and hold. So if on any, I'm not gonna say any plasma TV because there are some that are different, but in most plasma TVs, you open the UFO test at 240 pixels per second. So if you change the speed of the UFO test to 240, it's going to look perfectly clear. And that is the same as if you use a 240 hertz monitor. Okay, that's very good. So what I'm saying right now is that plasma TVs in motion are actually better than most TVs on the market today, unless they are using backlight manipulation technique or anything to reduce the persistence. So they look better than 120 FPS. That is very, very good for gaming, and they are so cheap. That's why I recommend it.
So that's the explanation why when I'm walking into the other room and watch something on the S95C, well, it's just better. WRGB can only show 3 colors per pixel at a time, and one of them is always white. So now you got it. You know, that's why, don't get me wrong, the LG OLED TV is looking fantastic. You know, they're really looking fantastic, but there is a step up when you have a QD-OLED TV next to it. Full stop. That's how it is.
Dan says, I want Ariel to get a console pile. Would you ever consider switching to a PS5 Pro, Ariel? I switched from a decade to PC of PC to PS5, and I'm so glad to done this with these cheaty ports. So yeah, basically he switched from PC to PS5. So the thing is, the games. See, it's not the price of the PS5 is great. The PS5 Pro, in my opinion, people say it is very expensive, but if you look at it, what you're getting, I think is very good. It's very, very good. But the problem is the games. You know, they lock you into that ecosystem. Now you have to buy all those $70 games. On the PC, we have something like Epic Games Store, where they are giving away games, and you can get AAA games a year later for free. And you have a lot of flexibility. So I prefer to spend thousands of dollars on a very high-end PC if I have the money than to get a PlayStation. And it's because of the games. And also, the other thing to me with PC is that, for example, a game comes out and it has something that you cannot turn off on the PS5 or the Xbox. You cannot turn that off, and for me it's a deal breaker. For example, you get this Black Myth Wukong with the over sharpening. It looks very bad, and you need the PC to mod the game and remove that. So those are the 2 main reasons. Sometimes we have a deal breaker that you cannot change on the console, because the console is supposed to be more plug and play, and you can change it on the PC. So that's basically. So no, I would never have just a console to play games.
No, that's the same. The same. I mean, I love PlayStation. So if you would ask me PlayStation or Xbox or PC, I would say Xbox has to go. That's how it is, because I can play all the Xbox games. Yeah, sorry, but I can play all the Xbox games on the PC. There's not a single Xbox game which is not on the PC, and that's how it is. But there are still many games on the PlayStation 5 which I can't play on the PC, which will change over the years. We will see. We know where Sony goes to. You know what I mean? We will see the new releases coming on the PlayStation 5, but then maybe 2, 3, 6 months later already on the PC. This will change probably. If then, and let me make one thing very clear. If at some point PlayStation or Sony will release the game at the same time on PC and PlayStation, there's no need for me to have a PlayStation anymore.
I am hearing that the GTA 6 is coming PC, PS5, Xbox
same day.
I am hearing that, and of course, fingers
would be the first time. Yeah,
but for the first time. But yeah, that might actually happen. But yeah, those exclusive, basically, that's the biggest thing. If you want to play the exclusive right away, yes, you need to get that PS5, basically.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, let's see. It's still a long time to go, and it's still a Rockstar. Let's see what they're doing. They're milking this like crazy. No worries. They like any other game.
But their games are so good, man. I just finished Red Dead Redemption 2. This week, actually. I've never finished the game before, and when I finally had the time, that's why I haven't uploaded any videos. I was playing Red Dead. And man, that game, just the story is something else. But now they, I was not a fan of the ending, but it was very entertaining the whole way.
What is happening at the ending? No,
no, I'm not saying what's happening, but basically they did the same as Game of Thrones. It's very good. I'm not sure if you watch Game of Thrones, but basically it was great in my opinion. But they start killing everyone. Yeah. So you get in love with the character, just just get it out.
Yeah.
So then, you're like, oh. So that's what they do. I think maybe that's the formula for a great story. But yeah, their games are so good because, I mean, the attention to detail, the story, it is a believable. It's an open world that's very immersive, very believable, because there's always something happening on every corner. So you can speak with people in a different way. It's so good, man. So good.
So, Silver, sorry if we missed that before, but so if I'm not wrong, then I know what you're talking about, and the venation blind effect is like this, like you have some lines or something like that on the screen on some certain objects. I'm not quite sure anymore, but I know, if I'm not mistaken, and this is the effect I'm talking about, this is just because of the WRGB OLEDs. It's gone with QD-OLED. So that's if I'm not mistaken, and I'm talking about a different issue. But yes, I heard about that, if this is what we're talking about. But
I feel like a lot of those patterns are only really visible when you're trying to find it. Like, just generally watching content, you're never going to really come across it. If you're running test patterns, okay, it's going to show up. But, that's not what you do when you watch your TV or play games. You're not running test patterns. But yeah, it will come up.
I did. When I have my LG CX, I ran, I think 8 hours a day. I tested the thing, and I learned a lot about. But then with the G2, I gave it up. The S95C, I didn't test anything because I don't want to see the flaws. I just turn on the picture and say, wow, this looks great, And you can find flaws. No worries at all. You can find.
Sorry, I have to, real quick bathroom break, because I ate like half a watermelon. So that's kicking me. So I'll be right back.
Just go ahead, and we're finishing up anyway soon, okay? Just go.
Okay.
No worries. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's good.
Watermelon. That's
life. That's life. That's life. We're not cutting this out. That's exactly how it should be in the live stream. No, but it's good, And again, I really like how the audience is actually interacting with us. Beam me up, Scott P. Why do OLEDs suffer so much from color banding compared to QD-OLEDs? I don't know, to be honest. But you're right. There's more color banding. Is it coming from the processor? Is it coming because of the pixel structure? I can't think about that now. But you're right. I have less color banding on my S95C. The S95C, I can't just tell you this. The clean panel on the S95C is like day and night compared to anything what I have seen so far. Of course, the LG OLED TV are also already on a high level, but compared again to the QD-OLED, wow. There's not a single issue when you pan your screen or whatever, even on a I don't know, when you play a game and you look up, in the sky, you have just blue and you pan your screen. On the LG OLED TVs, I can see there are some issues, very minor issues. Not a deal breaker at all. On the S95C, there's nothing at all, literally nothing.
How many years apart are those two TVs? 2 years apart, the G2 and the D?
Yes. The D, 1, 2, 3. 3 or 2 years, yes.
Because I just want to ask, because obviously when you get to a G2, like, you're already at a very high level. So in a percentage, what would you say is the main improvement? Like, are we talking like a 5% improvement? Because obviously we get excited and we exaggerate and things like that. Like, the G2 is still a killer TV. That thing will smoke most things. That's the thing. So when we say these things, it's like, oh, it's night and day. Like, we're talking night and day, 5% improvement, night and day, or...
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to say. It's let's say like this: if the TVs are not even in the same room, and I can see the difference, because usually it's very hard. So the difference between the CX and the G2 is very minor, because the only improvement is actually brightness. Okay, and brightness, we're talking about 700 nits for the CX, 700, 800 nits, and 1000 nits roughly for the G2. That's not much. Side by side, yes, you can see the difference. But when I'm walking out of this room and I go to my CX, there's no way I can tell you that this TV is better or this TV is better. I have even the feeling that the CX is better with the internal apps, because it looks sharper, it looks cleaner actually compared to the G2, but maybe that's just me. But with the S95C, as soon I started playing Zelda here, the new Zelda on this TV, and it was fine. And then I walked to the S95C, and I was like, okay, this is much better. It's Hey, welcome back, Ariel.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We're wrapping up soon anyway. So if you have any final questions, you know, then let me know. We have still time. Oh, we had here something. SNK Nostalgia. Thank you very much. Did we miss this? Have you found HDR settings for Dead Rising remake? Yes, I worked on it. And just a spoiler warning, HDR is actually pretty good in this game. So as far as I can tell, no HDR black level rays. It supports the, it doesn't support the HDR system level calibration, but it's a Capcom game. So you have the same sliders as the Resident Evil games. I just need to find out if actually the sliders are matching the output, because I have my doubts about that. You know, when you just use HDRG and you follow the instruction on the screen, for the G2, it's then 1000 nits, should be 1000 nits, but I have the feeling the real output is lower. But I haven't had time to make a proper video about that. Not sure if it's already.
One thing to look for on that engine is when you lower the peak brightness, check if the highlights are not clipping. Because in Resident Evil Village, one of those, I forgot which one it was. I think it was Village. When you reduce the slider, then you clip the highlights. So basically, instead of doing tone mapping to show you the detail, it is doing tone mapping, but it is dice. So it is cutting the detail. So you don't want to reduce the...
So you're talking about the second step. Also, you have the peak brightness, and then the second one is the brightness setting.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about this. Yeah, so I never recommended actually to reduce the brightness in Resident Evil. You always should keep the minimum or go up, because you will reduce the maximum peak brightness in specular highlights as soon as you decrease this. So I never recommend.
No, what I'm saying is I forgot, honestly. I made a video about it. I forgot. It was like a year ago. When I know the peak brightness, when you reduce it in-game, the tone mapping method that the developers use was dice. I think that's how you call that tone mapping method, which is basically cut the detail. It's like a reference monitor, 1000 nits. Okay, more than that, just cut everything. So when you look at a light source, you lose, like, it looks white. Like you no longer see the lamp or the bulb or something like that.
Yeah.
So look out for that, is what I'm saying. See if that happens.
I will.
With that.
Question. Hi, guys. Do we find out at midnight tonight whether or not we're successful with the JB ballot for... Oh, I don't know, actually, if this is already today.
I'm not sure either, but I put my hand up for it. I didn't even want the PS5 Pro, but I just know that 30th anniversary edition is so sought after. I put my name in the lottery. So I'm wondering, because I just know the resale value on those things. They'll be probably double what you pay for it.
Crazy. I mean, if I get this, I will not even unpack the thing.
That's exactly right. I'll just put it into storage.
Yeah. But as far as I know, they just, if you won, you get an email. If you didn't, you're not getting anything. That's how I know it. Okay, anything else? Oh, yes, sorry for that. I saw your message now, and so he likes to do a stream with us, but the thing is, you know, you need to understand, everybody needs to understand, those streams are planned for weeks ahead, months ahead, you know, and when we're getting a chance, like to getting FOMO on the stream, and you're saying, hey, I suddenly have time on a Sunday or whatever, I can jump in, then we have to take this chance. Full stop. That's how it is. You know, we're trying to accommodate everybody, but it's very hard sometimes, okay? But we are not forgetting you, okay? We will have a stream at some point. No worries. Here we have, was this one, sorry. I think that's it, or? Yeah, I matched my Resident Evil settings for Dead Space, probably. Dead Space, not for the other game. What we talked about. Dead Space, it needs to have proper HDR anyway. Do we have anything? What was the biggest leap that you all saw going from one TV to another? I went from a low budget. Oh, okay, good question.
I can make this very simple, man. The biggest leap you will see is going to an OLED. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah.
So if you've had cheap LCD TVs, or not even cheap ones, but if you make that switch to the OLED, that's pretty much the biggest jump. And then as I said earlier, I have a C1 OLED, and then this year I also purchased an additional G4. And as much as the G4 is a better TV, I don't think the jump was significant enough to warrant the price. Look, it's a better TV, but you know, we get hyped up, and you know, there's FOMO. We create all this hype around these TVs. It's like the G4 is better, but I feel like kind of once you hit the OLED, the improvements are going to be incremental at best. So, you know, every year, whether it's, you think the G3 was a really good TV, now we have the 4, next year it's going to be the 5. The jump I was expecting from the C1 to the G4 wasn't as significant as I thought it would be. I was just really sucked into all the hype, and everyone's super excited, which is great. I love that. I love that about our community. We get excited and new things are coming out. But yeah, to keep that simple, man, OLED is, once you hit OLED, you're pretty much doing very small jumps after that.
Let me just get to this. A PC is only for getting viruses and having a higher electricity bill. So first of all, I haven't had a virus in years. I don't know what pages you're surfing, but just stop it, you know. And having a higher electricity bill depends on your PC. You can have a higher electricity bill with the new PlayStation 5 Pro. Full stop. That's how it is. We don't even know what the wattage will be from the PlayStation 5 Pro, you know. And it's that there's, you know, and I never, you know, that's the same with you know, people buying a Porsche or whatever and then complaining about the petrol prices. No, go away, you know, go away. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, so one last thing, and all about TKK just joined now. You're too late, buddy, but good evening all. C1 to G4, man, I wish I could go back to C1 Thursday. 83 G4 though. Okay. Why you want to go back to C1 when you have the G4? I don't understand this. Because of the size? No.
Well, he has all the TVs, so that's not a problem for him. Hey, we need to have TKK one of these live streams. We have to have him. He has all the TVs. So if you ask him which TV you should buy, he might tell you just get them all. You don't have to decide. Just buy them all.
Yeah. Okay. He was man. Come from C1. Now I have G4. That's pretty big step up, I would say. Not as big as coming from a mid-range LCD to G4, I would say. That's like a shock, probably.
That's what I was just saying, though. I went from the C1 to the G4. It was an improvement, but it wasn't anything, you know, night and day improvement. It was brightness improvement. You know, there are motion clarity, things like that you get with it. But I don't think it's a huge deal. So I think every 3 to 5 years upgrading your OLED is more than enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, he's always for QD-OLEDs, and I mean, listening his perspective, I think it comes from like true experience, because he really buys all the TVs. So if he tells you, listen, this is what I like, this is what I think is the best, I mean, he's not like he has the TVs, he's going to use them. So his opinion, I think, is very, very valuable. So whatever he says that he likes, it's like that's it.
Okay, guys, I think it's time to wrap up. Okay, I say thank you very much to everyone, especially the comments and all the viewers, of course. And FOMO again. Yeah, FOMO left already, but it was great to have him. And let's see who we having next time, you know, or maybe no one. We never know. It's really let's see.
Yeah, we really have to thank FOMO, because, you know, with the level of success that he has, he's like a superstar on the AV community, and he's always supporting all the content creators and dropping comments. And yeah, he's very, very gracious to, you know, just to share this live stream and have us on his channel. And yeah, so I really enjoyed that, and you know, hopefully we can have them another day too.
I know Classy Tech would be good, but he's always driving when we have a stream. He's very busy, unfortunately. That's how it is anyway. Okay, now I think that's it. Or any last comments from you guys?
I just want to say thank you, everyone. We really appreciate you hanging with us this long. And yeah, we're going to try and do this more often. So if you want to follow all of us on YouTube, and yes, stay put. We all do regular streams. Marcus and Ariel, you guys do the Sunday stream, and they allow us to jump in. And Marcus and I do the Wednesday stream. So yeah, check us out. We'll got more content coming.
By the way, how should I call you? Layman or lay?
You can call me darling if you want. I don't mind, man. You can call me Adam. You can call me Layman. Yeah, that's
Layman.
Cool,
okay. Okay. Well, yeah. Nice to share the stream with you too.
Thanks, Go. We talked about this as well. Okay, guys. I say thank you very much, and yeah, we see you next time. Okay. Bye.
Take care. Bye.